Target Trading Academy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Preston Vogl here at Target Trading Academy with today's Micros Market recap. It is just after the New York close. It is March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. Let's get started with micro oil. You can see we are kind of slowing down here in the micros, but yet the bars are quite large nonetheless. So practically still untradeable for many people, but the volatility seems to have lessened somewhat. We did open gap up from yesterday's close and way above the range from yesterday's pit, and they just decided to keep going. They had a ton of buying step in, they got exhausted, and they made a new floor, and they just couldn't break through that secondary level throughout the day. The one level that we did eventually get to, that we have marked here, was a monster winner. Check out Patrick's videos for the win-loss break-even video submissions from students. But we did finish net positive in the day in oil. Now gold also, I do have to scroll back a bit in gold, not much. Opened gap up, but they had an initial sell-off that found support and decided to go up from there until they got exhausted towards lunchtime, and they brought it back down. They did finish net positive for the day. The overnight pre-market, aftermarket, I should say, is seeming to be bringing it down at this moment. We'll see what they do tonight, if they continue with that move, and in the morning we'll see what happens there. So for you, you'll see it tomorrow in this video after the market closes, but right now they had run up all this movement and closed around here, and the aftermarket has brought it down a little farther. We'll see what they do then. Now our equities, they had quite the movement today. They opened well, the ES here, micro ES, opened below, gapped below its close from yesterday, but within its range that it made. And they kind of had some choppy action in the beginning. A lot of buyers trying to get in, but they got stuffed initially, and then they've set that floor, and they just never looked back. They did have one solid attempt at coming back here, but for the most part after this, they just took it up and melted up. And this, I mean, they had these choppy periods, bricks of choppy periods dispersed throughout the day. So it was somewhat choppy as it just melted up. Remember, we are in rollover into the equities. We have one more day of two, main contracts being open, but we did finish net positive for the day, getting over. Well, this one doesn't show it as well, but we did get over that 4400 area, or 44, almost 4410 area. Sorry, this does show it well. I don't know what I said. Here, just 2 minutes before the close of the New York. This is what I was referring to as 4400. And then they did get to 4410. And as you can see, this aftermarket here, as it plays around, is bringing it back down. We'll see what they do in the overnight. They might just continue higher. Hey, they might bring it lower. Who knows? But as far as who was in charge today, it was most certainly the buyers. But it was pretty choppy overall. If you can see or understand anything about these levels that we give our students out each night before, you can see that they hold really well. Believe it or not, they are given out the night before for our students to put on their charts respectively, so they have them ready to go for the next trade session, or they can trade in the overnight if they wish, or the pre-market, or the next day's pit with those levels that we give them. That's how early they are out for those students to use. Now Nasdaq, very similar story. It did open in its range below the close, just like the ES that we saw here. Let me scroll back. But we had initial selling. Unlike that kind of choppy buying pressure in the ES, we had that initial selling where they then found their floor and they just came up. They did get close to this low after that initial run up, when they came back down towards lunch. But they held off. Those buyers held them off, and we just, like the ES, melted up. But you can see how choppy some of these periods were. Look at the time frame on this. 12:21. That's almost an hour long before they. Well, that if you count the hour brick there, that really isn't much movement. And they just decided to bring it forward and up. So we did make some new highs for the day. Again, finishing net positive in the Nasdaq here. Again, these levels doing tremendously. Now, if you haven't heard of these levels before, or if you have any interest in finding them or how you can get them, feel free to reach out to us. We are Target Trading Academy. You can find us on Facebook or go to our website at targettradingacademy.com. Get in touch with a representative there. They'll show you the ropes real quick, and you'll be able to see quickly for yourself why we are the #1 trading education company in the world. We look forward to seeing you there.